Let's go. Welcome. Happy Friday and welcome to our Friday night art class where we will be here painting this winter lake scene in blue, black, and white. And we'll be using our wide flat brush for the background and some other details. We'll be using our medium round brush as well. And of course, our small detail brush. So we are gonna get started with our wide flat brush, and I do have a little bit of water to help me, and I'm gonna do a nice layer of blue across the whole canvas. The blue that I'm using is like a cobalt blue, or if you have a royal blue, that's good. If your blue is a little bit lighter, you might want to find a darker one, or you could mix a little black into it. So we are just doing horizontal strokes help when we're doing landscape, especially when we're depicting water. The strokes allow us to see what's really happening here. Just adds to the look and feel of being on the water when you keep the strokes all going the same direction, basically. Yeah, so using a little bit of water to help you spread it is good, but still make sure you have a good thick coat of blue on here. Top portion. You know what? Almost there. This is an arm workout, let me tell you. All right, I think this is good enough. So we have it, our first layer. Yeah, I feel like I missed a little bit on this corner. Let me get this here. If you like to paint the sides of your painting, if you're doing like a wrapped canvas, now's your chance. All right, I think this is looking nice. So the next step, before you guys let it get too dry, we're going to use our white paint and we're gonna start blending, ooh, a nice bar of white in the middle. I haven't cleaned my brush, so I still have blue on it. And I'm just gonna dip into the white paint. And I'm gonna start blending in the center of my painting, a nice white streak. And what's gonna happen is as I go back and forth, I'm gonna spread it, it's gonna blend into the blue and create a nice gradient. So you're gonna have white in the middle that slowly blends into the blue on the ends. So like this is nice, but I'm gonna put a little bit more so it can be dramatic because we want it to highlight that moonrise over the water. So I'm gonna get a little more white. So you may have to do it depending on your medium. If you're using paper or canvas, you may only have to do it one time, but you may have to do it a couple times. So it just kind of depends on what you're using. So experiment and have fun. And you guys can see how just repeating the back and forth motion is what creates that smooth transition of colors. So you don't see like a harsh line changing color here. Do it a little more dramatic. And then I think I'm done. If your brush gets a little sticky and isn't flowing as you're blending, just grab a little bit of water. I literally just tap my brush into it and that will help you. So now we're flowing again. So we want this to be blended a bit more. Okay, so I like it. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let this heal before I keep picking at the scab. And we'll let that have a moment. So we blended our white. Feel like it's looking good. Let's still keep it flowing because you don't want it to get too dry. If it does, no worries, you can always blend blue back into the mix. But hopefully you still have a little bit of moisture in the blue areas. So what we're gonna do is, I've cleaned all the white off of my brush. So just adding, here's my messy palette. You guys can see what's gonna happen. So all my blue accidentally spilled everywhere. That's a story for another day. But I'm gonna scoop a little bit of this blue over here in a new section. And I'm gonna just get a little corner of my brush into the black and mix that in so that it becomes a slightly darker blue. There we go. So it's not too dark. It's just slightly darker. You can see compared to the other. Hopefully this won't drip. Seems to be okay. That's okay. It landed just where it needed to. Okay. So I have my darker blue, and all I'm gonna do is just do a little stripe at the top and at the bottom, and I'm just gonna blend them up into the white. So we're gonna have like a smooth transition from like the dark blue to the light blue to the white in the middle. So I'm just gonna do my stripe here. I'm like literally using just half the brush so that I can spread the rest down here. And then we just go for it and we just keep blending up into the blue, and you should be okay. If you're not able to blend it or if it's a little too dark, you can always grab more blue and keep blending. So now we have a night sky, you see. Perfect. Oh, you can see up close the blending. It's not super dark at the top or bottom. It's just a perfect smooth transition. Amazing. Yeah, I had to deliver those steps kind of quickly because I don't want your paint to dry while you're blending. So at least now you can kind of plan if you're taking your time. I know everyone works at a different pace. So at least now you have all the steps in order. Hmm. Just looking at it as it dries to make sure it's the color I want. Sometimes with acrylic paint that happens. You might want to let yours dry and look at it and see if you want it to be brighter or darker. Might take a second. I think this looks good for me, so we'll see. So, all right, just making sure my brush is clean. Make sure you get all the paint off of your wide flat brush. I know the camera must be shaking, so let me do it a different way. All right. The next part, we need to make sure that we get all the water out as well. So get all the paint, all the water out. So we're gonna kind of back and forth here for a second, but it'll be fine. I think you guys are professionals. You can handle it. So we're gonna start with the black now. And I've gotten all the water out, so it's kind of, there you are. It's kind of rough. It's not such a smooth edge on my flat brush, so it's gonna look kind of bushy when I tap this across the canvas. So we're gonna make a horizontal line across, all the way across. But when we do it, we're gonna hold the brush horizontal and we're going to just tap our way across. And so this is gonna be where our horizon line is. And hopefully tapping it across makes it easier to make it a straight line, but if it's not straight, that's okay because Mother Nature's not perfect. So gonna make a nice little line like so. That's the first part. Okay, not perfect. It's okay. And once you have your line, we're gonna do just a corner of the canvas here. So I'm gonna do the same tapping method to create my little triangle area. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it in with black, like, you know, how we normally would. Just making sure that you don't see any blue through this. So make sure you get a nice good layer of black on there. And then soon the switcheroo will happen. Well, just looking like we're standing on land looking over at a peninsula, or we're on the peninsula maybe. I don't know. Let me make sure I cover this a little bit better. We'll do one more layer. Got my little dots. All right. Oh, once you have that, you can go ahead and clean your wide flat brush and go ahead and put it to the side for a moment. Because it's time for the switcheroo. Close up. I probably could use a little more black on mine. I don't know if you guys can tell there's still blue peeking through. So I'm probably gonna do another layer just to make sure. You want to be sure that it's solid when you do it. And unfortunately, sometimes it's hard to tell until it starts to dry. Then you know. Give it some texture here. And maybe a little more here. A lot of this also has to do with what paint you're using as well, or how much water is really on your brush. But as it starts to dry, you start to actually see if you have enough paint on there or not. It's a process. But I think I've got it now. This looks good. Okay, so now you can see the difference. You can't see any blue through here. Looks like real land. So we clean that brush. We'll come back to it in a moment. All right, the next thing we're doing is working with the detail brush just for a moment. Make sure mine is clean. I had black on there from doing the tree. Okay, we want to do our white next. So the things we're gonna focus on are, it's gonna come in steps. There's a method to my madness because you kind of want one area to dry while you work on another area, and then you can, come back. So we're gonna do the edge of our brush. Whoop, can you see? Perfect. And we are gonna do our stars by just dipping into the white and adding our stars. The method is you're adding the stars only to the sky first. Then we'll move down here to work on the water reflections. Then we will do our moon, which we're gonna switch back to the wide brush for. Then we finish the reflection stars. So that's kind of why we're switcheroo, because you want one area to dry before you do the next. Ah, we'll fix that. Oh, and this is also how I work on paintings when I do commissions or larger paintings, even muralists. They might lay out the whole foundation or the whole background or all the outlines. But then you work in sections. As one section dries, you lay the foundation for the next section. Then when the previous section dries, you can come back and then you could do the details. So that's exactly what we're doing. I don't know the name of this method. I will look it up, and if you're on YouTube, I will put it on the comments. But for everyone in the Zoom class, I'll let you know next week, because I can't remember the name of that. I think I might put some more stars. Okay, some of them look like shooting stars, I suppose. I don't know what's happening. We'll see in the end. I think that's good enough. And then when you're done with your stars, I like to use the back of my brush to help clean my larger brush in the water. So that might be helpful for some. But once you have your stars the way you like them, you're ready for your water ripples. So now we flip our detail brush to the brush end. And so basically what you want to do is it's easier to do the reflection of the moon before you do the moon on this one, just to kind of make sure that you get it placed correctly, so that it makes sense. So I have a little bit of water on here, and I'm gonna grab some white paint. And I'm gonna start out with just some very soft horizontal strokes, and I'm gonna do them very gently and quickly. So you can see it's kind of wispy, and I have this wider area, and I'm gonna make it skinny. So now I'm gonna just go straight down. I'm gonna make my strokes very, very tiny, and we're doing this all the way down to the bottom. Let me get more paint. Okay. More paint at the top makes more sense. Okay, like so. So we have kind of like a Y shape, I suppose. Wonderful. That's the beginning. But you know, this part I have to deliver it quickly because I can't let your paint dry. So once you have your Y shape, you're gonna just rinse off your brush and keep some water on there. Not too much, you don't want it to drip. And we're gonna go over it again until we kind of lighten those. You might even go over just the edges to soften them. The goal is to get these lines looking like reflective lines in the water. It already is going to look that way since we use these soft horizontal strokes, but you can make it more dramatic if you go over it, those edges with a little water. And of course you can play with it. You know, if I know like more of like a boho style, you would do like a more solid shape. That's totally fine too. And just kind of make it your own. I need more white. So here we go. Now I'm having these defined looking squiggles, I guess, in the water. The ripples, that's the word. Goodness gracious. The public school system, folks. I tried. All right, this is good enough. So that's your Y shape ripple. This is our reflection of the moon specifically. So you can see how I use the water to kind of spread it on the edges. I'm loving how it's looking so far. So let's finish up these water ripples. So I still have my small detail brush with a little white paint and a little water. And I'm just gonna do like a few lines kind of randomly throughout. And then after I mark those areas, I'm gonna kind of come back over them with a little water and just continue to brush back and forth and kind of blend it into what's already there. A little more water so you guys can really see it. So just lightly, very wispy, light strokes. Your tree is gonna go over here, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But it will read as water. a little more water here. And I think we're good. Very nice. Yeah, so once you have that, you can clean this brush and set it aside so we can do those star reflection area, whatever. We'll do the reflections of the water after we do our moon and trees. Not the big tree, the background trees. It's Friday. I don't know English anymore. So let's see. Yeah, 7:14. We're doing good. So make sure that you have all of that black out of your wide flat brush because we're gonna do the moon. And we need that white to be as bright as we can get it. So do your best, get all the black out, any gray water from your water cup. All right, we're ready. Oh, I don't know if you guys could hear the thunder here. It's gonna storm. So we have our wide flat brush. It's dry, clean, and ready to go. And we're gonna do our moon how we usually like to. We're gonna cover our wide flat brush with white paint. And we're gonna smash it over top of the Y shape, okay? And I'm gonna twirl it like we usually do. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just give it a nice twirl on the canvas. Boom. I think I twirled it like 2 or 3 times. There we go. Like a 5-year-old. That's how we do. And if you want, you can clean around the edges. Like I might have my trees covered a little, but you can try and clean it up and get it a little more round if it's not perfect. The wide flat brush is the best tool, believe it or not, to get those edges. All right, that's good enough. We have a moon. Looks nice. My moon is really close this time. Wow. The nice full moon. Isn't there a full moon coming up? Maybe the first week of September, I'm assuming. Just guessing. But who knows? September 7th. That's my best guess. We'll check that too. If I don't edit this out, then the YouTubers can talk about it in the chat. That will be interesting. So once you have your moon, make sure you clean all the white out because we're ready to do our black trees in the background anyway, the background trees. Basically, what we have left are the background trees, our reflective stars, and then we're doing our foreground tree. And then that's it. So I have all of the white out, and I also have all of the water out of my wide flat brush. Again, kind of creating this like uneven looking, jagged, rugged edge. That's what you want. Ah, you could see it there against the reflection of the moon. Look at that. So I'm going to keep it like this, just how we did our horizon line across. We're going to take black. And to make our trees, I'm literally tapping little lines all the way up, but I'm making my lines a little wider towards the bottom. That's it. And then just making it kind of come towards a point at the top. And it'll start to take shape like a real tree. So when you do this, you can make, or you can play with it and see, but the trees end up being easy to transition into each other, but also different sizes. You'll find if you use just the corner of the brush, you can make really small trees. And so you kind of want to mix them up. The original idea was to not have the trees cover the moon, but my moon is so close to the ground that I think I'll probably have some covering mine. But you guys can get creative and make it how you see it. If you want to do like palm trees, I can't wait to see it.
Am I using the smallest brush?
No, we're using the wide flat brush still, and
Okay,
I'm just holding it vertically now. So
okay,
holding it vertically and then just tapping repeatedly and moving the brush upward. So it starts with like a line. And then
okay,
from there, I spread it out on the bottom to kind of make that triangle Christmas tree-like shape. And because I'm tapping it, it gives the illusion of the leaves. Let me hold it closer so you can kind of see. It's a different way to do trees. We haven't done this yet. So when I do the smaller trees, I'm still holding my brush vertically. There we go. Vertically, like so. But then I just angle it up. I angle like the back of the brush upward a little bit. And that's how you make the smaller trees. So I still have it vertical, but I'm going to angle the tip of the brush up. And now I have a little tree. It just looks like a blob close up. But when you back up, that's when it starts to look real. Like, wow. That's it. Nothing crazy. Nothing major. But we haven't done these kind of trees yet. So you're gonna do those kind of trees all the way across. You can make them all different kinds of heights and widths, whatever, however you see it in your artist's eye. May be a little time consuming, but it's worth it. Looks good. It's a cool way to do trees. And these are little canvases that we're working on, but imagine if you had a large, like a life-size canvas. Using a bigger brush and making trees like this will be actually a lot of fun. Not that this isn't fun, but I don't know, you know what I mean. Amazing. Look at that. Wow. And with that, we are done with our wide flat brush. Looking fantastic.
Gonna get this tree.
What happened? What'd you say?
I said, now we have to get this tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do now. Okay, so if you want to do the next part, we're gonna use the back of the little brush and we're gonna finish the reflection of the stars here with the white, with the back of the brush. So you can do a few stars and then the tree. Like, you don't want to do too many stars down there, but enough. Enough to sell it. That's about good enough. I love it. Looks really good. So yeah, the last part, the tree, there's two parts. You're gonna do the trunk first, which we do with our medium round brush. I know you've been waiting to use this all evening. So this is gonna be for the trunk of the tree. And then the rest of the tree, or like the little empty winter branches, we're gonna use our detail brush. So let's start with our trunk. And I'm gonna get some black paint on here. And I'm just gonna honestly pick a spot and we're gonna take it all the way to the top. Take it to the top. Boom. Lovely. And you probably want it to be a little thicker on the bottom here. Definitely benefits you to not have it be a perfect line because it will look more, if you want it to look more realistic. So we'll have that go all the way up to the top there. Boom. It's a bigger tree, this one, but it's nice. We could put this brush away. We're done. I think this looks good. I wonder if you guys can hear the duck. The animals are going crazy. A storm is coming. Who knows? But that is our trunk with the medium round brush. That's about all we'll use it for. You can put her away. And our last bit, les branches. I should learn how to say branches in other languages. That would be cool. That's a word I say a lot in this class. Trees, branches, leaves. That would be fun. Each week I come with a new word in another language. That would be fun. We'll see who can guess what language it is. I don't know. We'll see. Me and my crazy ideas every week. So we're ready for our branches. We have our detail brush here. Okay, when I use my detail brush, I dip it in the black, but I spin it. I give it a little twirl between my fingers because it makes it come to more of a, I can't see. A point. There's the point. You can see it here. So I start from far with light pressure and then I push down harder as I get closer to the trunk of the tree. Allow me to demonstrate here. We'll start from far. And it doesn't have to be perfect, thank goodness, because nature's not. And that's our first branch. So I'm gonna have about 6 of those at the top and make a bunch of like little kind of creepy looking branches coming off of that. So do your best. Because I know it's gonna look amazing. So this is an example of kind of how I'll do the smaller ones. So you can see how the details will go. Not too much, just a little bit. doing the trees, the branches, really any details of the painting. This is that moment, like, when everyone finally gets their food at the restaurant and the table's all silent. Doesn't matter if there's 2 people there, if there's 20 people sitting there, the whole room is silent. This is our moment. Everybody focus. I think that's good enough for me. Ta-da! And that is, what is this called again? Winter Lake? Midnight Moonlit Lake? I can't remember, but it's looking fabulous. Let's see, let's stop.
Okay, here we go.